Hi, welcome to the Reddit room. Please have a seat. John will be with you in a moment to read some stories from the Am I the Asshole subreddit.
Will I be the asshole if I leave my husband's affair baby with my mother-in-law while the rest of us go on vacation? Posted by Consistent Field 900. I, female 38, my husband, male 58, has a child from an affair he had a couple years ago. I forgave my husband, but I cannot force myself to see his son as my stepson. The custody arrangement is that my husband has him every other week. Christmas and most Christmas vacation this year falls on the days that he has him. I have an annual trip that me and few of the other housewives put together for all of families. His ex-mistress, Leah, is refusing to take him for just this week. I told her she's being selfish and that she should want to spend Christmas with her son. She said that so should my husband. My husband agreed with me, so we decided we would drop him and his presents off to my mother-in-law. When Leah found out, she was furious. She said I'm being selfish. I told her she's the last one to be talking about being selfish, and she has no control over what my husband does with the child during the time he has custody of him. My oldest daughter, female, 18, told me she agrees with Leah and that there's no reason why he's being punished for their affair. I told her to stay in a child's place and that if she keeps this up she'll be joining him.
What is even going on here? First of all, I don't get how you can forgive your husband but not accept the only innocent part in this, the child that was born from the affair. I get that you didn't choose to have a child, and it isn't your child. But that doesn't exclude the fact that it is a living being that did nothing wrong. Your husband then not taking any responsibility in this, and just following your lead as to being a bad person and dropping the kid off at your mother-in-law. You guys should be ashamed. A strong you're the asshole, both of you.
Am I the asshole for posting my neighbor's crazy notes on the door to my apartment, so everyone knows how he is crazy? Posted by Throwaway High School 27. My neighbor writes crazy notes about random shit to my apartment, and puts them under my door. Like totally wild shit, as in saying that the apartment doesn't allow animals, I don't have any animals, that I need to have less friends park on the street is public parking and literally anyone who's parking can park there for free. I don't even know if the people he was complaining about were actually my friends. That I need to shut my windows when I have bright lights on in my apartment at night because he can see them at his apartment. I don't know, this one is just weird, and that my occult stuff is a sin. I'm not religious, so I really don't care about this one, but I had some pagan friends over, and that I could not have 6 bicycles on the front porch. I only have one, so I don't know what that was about. Maybe he saw my friend's bikes or somebody else's bikes. Anyway, I started taking all the notes and taping them with thick masking tape to my apartment door. My neighbor signed the notes with his name and apartment number, and so it is obvious who it's from. Anyway, after I posted all the notes on the outside of the door, he stopped leaving any more, and also tried to rip the ones he already left off the door, but when I heard scratching at my door, not knowing what it was, I thought someone was trying to break in and screamed to get away. I had 911 on the phone. I legit thought it was a robbery. I didn't think it was my neighbor trying to take down the notes until I went out for a look and saw one part torn, but not torn too much because it was taped down. Anyway, my friends think the notes are kind of funny, and my landlord came by and asked me what the deal was. I said I dunno. The guy in the other apartment keeps leaving these whack notes and he's kind of freaking me out. I don't know what my landlord did after that. Anyway, I got one more note saying that we were not allowed to decorate the hallways. I guess he must have been trying to come up with an excuse for why I couldn't post his notes on my door. I put that on my door too and didn't say anything. I haven't heard from him since, but it is wild to me that he got pissy at his own notes being there. Am I the asshole for posting my neighbor's crazy notes on the door to my apartment so everyone knows how he is crazy?
I think you could have at least try to take the high road and try to talk to your neighbor first, but I can only guess by how passive these neighbors already are that it wouldn't have done a lot. If that was the case, I wouldn't do anything but recommend what you did to them.
Am I the asshole for skipping my family's Thanksgiving dinner? A post by MathDragon 1720. My family is unhappy. I decided to skip Thanksgiving this year. The reason I didn't go is because it's not a regular Thanksgiving dinner, since I have a sibling who has avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. This disorder means they will only eat a small list of foods, to the exclusion of all others. At Thanksgiving, the only foods on the menu were corn, green beans, and roasted sweet potatoes, because my sibling won't eat anything else and can't tolerate being around other foods even if others are eating them and my sibling isn't. Growing up with this was hell. The food we had in our house was extremely limited, and we didn't go to restaurants or to people's houses except for our grandparents, because there would be food not on my siblings' list. We never had birthday parties because we couldn't have cake or snacks in the house, and it was hard having friends over because of the limited food. One time my sibling saw me after school walking home with a friend while eating a muffin my friend gave me, and got so upset because I was eating a muffin when I was near them and the house. My parents were really unhappy with me for that. When I was in high school we had to stop visiting my grandparents unless they came over to our house, because they moved into a seniors community with a dining room and meal delivery, and my sibling didn't like the food from either place. My uncle follows my siblings' list too. I was in high school when I went to a restaurant for the first time in my life. The aversion to being around food my sibling doesn't like is so strong and can cause things like vomiting and other distress. I wanted to have a real Thanksgiving dinner for the first time in my life, so I went to a friend's house. I'm 20 and I had turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, yams, and other Thanksgiving food for the first time in my life. I moved out in September and this was my first big holiday since I moved out. I told my family I'd be skipping more dinners at home because I want to eat other things besides what's on my siblings' list. They called me out and are trying to convince me to change my mind. Christmas is a big one because I said I'll visit and do presents, but I have my own plans fit dinner. I'm not planning to never visit, but I don't want to eat there now.
Not the asshole. You are an adult, so just by that reason alone you can decide where you want to go for the holidays. Your parents could have handled this disorder in a way that wouldn't control your life the way it has. Just because they don't mind living by the restrictions that their child has, doesn't mean everyone else should too. Just because you are not there for the dinner, doesn't make you an asshole. I also found this comment.
Not the asshole. I have this disorder. Your parents have handled it terribly. There's no reason you had to follow the restrictions this disorder imposes on your sibling. And it's much better for us with this problem to be exposed to new food, even if we can't eat it. At Thanksgiving I basically ate bread, but I still attended to socialize and see my family because even though I can't eat food that makes other people happy, it's my disorder and nutrition and social discomfort to manage. Your sibling's prognosis for improvement is likely irreparably damaged by now, due to your parents' actions. Nobody's health benefits from their current rules. I'm sorry your family imposed such arbitrary, unfair restrictions upon you instead of letting you live freely simply, because some of us cannot. Edit, gender neutralized my comment. Gotta be accurate, pardon my mistake.
Am I the asshole or giving the PlayStation 5 my husband bought to my nephew? Posted by Pissed Winehead. I am a 35-year-old woman and my husband is 37. I discovered the other day he had bought a PS5 as a gift for himself, but the thing is, he used my money to do so without my permission, using a portion of my emergency savings that he had access to in case of an emergency, which I do not believe being able to get your hands on a new video game console classes as. This led to a huge argument and I took the console away and reboxed it up. I debated on returning it to the shop for the money, but I know my sister has been struggling to find one for my 13-year-old nephew for over a year. So instead I wrapped it up and took it round to hers, and put it under the tree and quietly explained what it was and what had happened. My sister then gave me the money for it. My husband went ballistic, shouting and demanding I go get it back, which I of course refused to do, telling him as it had been bought with my money, it was my choice what happened to it. He is now sulking and refusing to talk to me and acting like a huge child. Edit, for anyone curious about our money situation and why I'm so angry. We each put half our salary into a communal family fund for the house, bills, groceries, etc. The other half is ours to play with as we want. My husband always blows through his and never saves a penny. Half of my expendable money goes into savings for emergencies as I'm more realistic. Second edit. Stating here, because of comments, he refused to pay me back as it was an emergency. Third edit, I have emptied the emergency account that he has access to and put it all in my personal account, that he does not have access to, including the money I got from my sister for the PS5.
No way that you are the asshole, OP. What does he expect? He steals your money that you had, mind you, put aside for an emergency. And then just think you will be cool with it because he wanted a PS5. And then when you find out, he refuses to pay you back and insists this is an emergency. Ridiculous. I would really reconsider if you want to be with this man. Not the asshole. I'm curious for another update.
Am I the asshole for putting all my snacks in the fridge in a lockable box? Posted by Loving Rose Thorn. So I live with my boyfriend, and he finishes work earlier than me, so he is always home first, until I get home and we can make dinner. It's not unusual for him to snack. This wouldn't be an issue if he ate his own snacks or didn't eat all of mine, but often when I come home, I find all my snacks that I love are finished and I don't buy many of them either. At first I talked to him nicely about this, telling him next time if he could leave some and not eat everything, but when he was dismissive it led to an argument where things got a bit heated on both sides, I'm ashamed to admit. And he finally told me it was only snacks and he'd eat whatever he pleased in the fridge. Finally annoyed by this, I bought a small lockable box and put it in the fridge. It is now where I store my snacks to ensure I can at least get some of them. He was annoyed and angry at this, saying I was being dramatic and it was just snacks. I was happy to share them but he wouldn't even leave me any, so I made sure I got all. Perhaps it was petty to lock them up where he can't access, but trying to talk to him failed. Am I the asshole?
This commenter posted precisely what I was thinking.
LOL. So he told you it's not a big deal if you don't get to eat any snacks, and now he's making a big deal out of not being able to eat the snacks himself. Not the asshole.
You're not done listening to the Reddit Room? Click here for the next video. And subscribe for more content.